Yo everyone, hope you're having a great day. By the end of this video, you're going to understand how to compress like a pro. I'm about to reveal all you need to know about vocal compression for beginners, okay? Now, I used to slap compression on my vocals just to make all the vocals level out, but I didn't really know what I was doing. You might be doing the same. By the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly what you need to do. So what happened after I just slapped compression on my vocals? Was it a disaster? Nah. I got louder vocals, it wasn't too bad, and I got less wild fluctuations, but there are issues when you like guess and you don't really know what you're doing. First of all, it's super easy to make the room noise very loud and make your vocal take sound much worse. Also, you really shouldn't be using compression to make your vocals sound louder. That's not what compression is for. And if you don't know what you're doing, it will be hard to get the results that you want consistently. You'll be a slave to presets, which, you know, isn't that bad, but it's not a great place to be when you want to get things to your liking. But the good news is you won't have these problems if you watch this video through to the end. So I hope you do just that. Question I got for you today is, what is the best compressor for beginners? You don't know? Well, that's fine, because I'll be revealing the answer later on in this video, so stay tuned. This is the #1 spot for creatives and musicians that don't want to be starving artists. So if that sounds like you, click on the subscribe button, check out the rest of the content on the channel, because you will love it here, guaranteed. Now, first of all, what is compression supposed to be used for? Let's answer that. Compressors are basically automatic faders. Compression is mainly used to tame dynamics or reduce dynamic range. If you don't know what dynamics are, it's basically, you know, the range of where the volumes are. So the dynamics would be if you've got something hitting at -4 and it also hits at -2 within, or not -2, let's say it hits at 1 in this vocal take, then you've got, you know, that's your dynamic range. You might want to lower that so that things are hitting under 1. Maybe you want to lower it to like -2 or something. That's when you set a threshold on your compressor, but we're getting a little bit further down. Let's come back to what a compressor does, okay? Basically, they turn down the louder signals to match the quieter signals more closely. For example, if you have a vocal take and there are places in that take that are too loud or too low in volume, then using a compressor can help to balance things out. Using multiple compressors is a good technique to use to make sure you're covering all the bases and you're not relying on one compressor to do all the work, because that can actually end up with your vocal sounding over compressed and, you know, not sounding great, unless that's the sound that you're trying to go for. Now, I like to compress the hell out of my vocals, but only do that with parallel compression, which we'll talk about in a bit. Now, there are 5 compression options you need to understand. Let's bring up Studio One. Here we are. This is a compressor. This is the CLA76 compressor from Waves. Very nice compressor. Now, the 5 compression options you need to understand are attack, release, threshold, ratio, and makeup gain. Okay, so let's go through what those mean. Attack controls how fast the compressor can react in reducing gain. So this will reduce the signal over the threshold limit. So let's start with threshold actually. Anything above this is considered to be too loud and will be compressed down. It will be brought down to where the threshold is. So basically what a compressor does is it listens wherever you set the threshold. If signals are going over that, then it will bring it back down. Now this compressor actually doesn't have a threshold on it. So let's not use this CLA compressor, because that's what I generally use, but let's try something else. Here's a compressor with attack, release, threshold, ratio, knee, all the stuff that we need, okay? Now, if we play this back, we should be able to actually see where the threshold is. Now, the threshold's at -10. This is just some test vocals, by the way, so don't judge me. So any signal that hits above -10 will be brought down. So if we want more compression, we can bring this to about, you know, -15. So anything that goes over there is going to come down. So if you bring it even further down, nothing should go over 24. As you can see, in the output, everything's under 24. So under 26 kind of. So let's bring it up a little bit. Attack is how fast the compressor will take those signals that go over the threshold back down, okay? Release is how fast that reduction resets, so it will take it back down, and then how fast it goes back to normal is the release. Ratio is interesting. A lower ratio will basically gently rein in the signals over the threshold. A higher ratio will bring it back really aggressively, and the higher the ratio is basically a limiter. So if we bring up our ratio to like 10, that means, as far as I remember, it's every 1 dB it reduces it like 10 or something. Let's play this back. So let's bring it back to minus 24. The higher the ratio, the more aggressive it's going to bring it down, basically. If you don't want anything to pass that threshold at all, you can bring your ratio all the way up, but I wouldn't recommend that because that might sound very unnatural. You kind of want it to be smoothed out. We've also got makeup gain. Now, makeup gain is basically what you'll use to get your vocals back to where they were. So if we turn off this compressor, like so, and we play back where the vocals, basically minus 22. So if we actually want this to be compressed, we want to be lower than minus 22. So if we're at like minus 25, and we'll bring this ratio to like 3:1. And we can bring that more. And we're bringing it down because basically you want it to be minus 6 dB under where your vocals are hitting as a starting point. So let's bring this down. We'll assume it's at like 24, so 22. So we'll bring it down like minus 28. And then at that point, you also want to bring it right back up. So we're going to, as you can see, it says the reduction was -4. So we're going to bring this up, but because we assumed it's like 6, we're going to bring the makeup back so that it sounds like how it did before it's compressed. So this is what it sounds like uncompressed. I didn't even show you that. This is what it sounds like. Let's bring it back so you can hear the difference in compression. So, the CLA is still on, my bad. So let's listen back with no compression.
I don't really know what to say on this test.
See?
I don't really do much.
So the vocals are actually around minus 12.
I don't know the melody I want. But we're gonna test it anyway. Yeah. This is a test.
So you see how the dynamics are all over the gaff. You don't want that. You want things to be as in the middle as possible. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring our threshold up to about minus 12 is where it's hitting. So we want to bring it to about minus 18 because that's minus 6. And then we'll still have the 6 makeup. And this is what it sounds like with compression.
I don't really know what to say on this test. I don't really do much with this test. I don't know the melody I want. But we're gonna test it anyway. Yeah. This is a test for compression.
So really, we're not getting enough compression on that. So I'd actually bring this way down to maybe 20.
I don't really know what to say on this test. I don't really do much with this test. I don't know the melody I want.
And we're bringing the attack down so that we have that compression happening more quickly, because as I'm listening back, I'm hearing a lot of stuff that's sounding louder than I want it to be. I want everything to be the same kind of level. Now, that's what makeup gain's for. There's also the knee, which is a bonus. Let's quickly discuss that. Now, a soft knee applies small amounts of gain reduction to signals below the threshold. A hard knee, which is like, I guess, which was hard knee? I don't know. I'm not 100% sure which is like, if it's more hard, if it's more. That looks softer. Yeah, this is a hard knee then. So a hard knee basically means the compressor starts working when things pass the threshold. So if we do this, then it's not going to apply any gain reduction under the threshold.
But we're gonna test it anyway.
And then if we add this, it basically means, you know, if something's under the threshold, it's like, okay, stay under there, bruv. So it kind of smooths things out.
Yeah. This is a test. I don't really know what to say on this test. I don't really do much with this test. I don't know the melody I want. But we're gonna test it anyway. Yeah. This is.
So that's quite on point. Like, it doesn't sound like anything is too out of here. So let's go through the steps of actually compressing your vocals. Like, I did a little bit there, but rarely I'm explaining. Let's go through the steps that you need to go through to actually compress your vocals step by step. So first of all, you want to add your compressor after an EQ at the bare minimum. Okay, you don't want to compress and then EQ because you'll just be boosting frequencies that you don't want. So you add the compressor after you've already EQ'd. Then you want to start with like 6 dB of compression. So wherever your vocals are hitting, generally my vocals are hitting -12, you want to minus 6 dB from that, and then you can go down more if you need to, okay, and adjust to taste. You want a soft knee. Generally, you don't want it to be too harsh. So like about 10 dB is not too bad. Like, you can really experiment with the knee, to be fair. Like, I'm not 100% versed in knees and stuff. Then you want a 2-to-1 attack, a 2-to-1 ratio or 3-to-1 ratio for vocals generally. You want a moderate attack, so not too long like this. This will have things going way over.
I don't really know what to say, honestly.
You see that? You don't really want peaks like that. You want a moderate attack. So you don't want it too quick. If 400 milliseconds is your thing, you probably want like, well, actually, let's go to about 2, to be fair. 2 milliseconds. I like quite fast compression.
I don't really know what to say on this test. I don't really do much with this test.
Yeah. Release, you want that to also be quite moderate. So we could bring it down, but I think it was all right where it was. Let's bring it.
I don't know the melody I want, but we're gonna test it anyway. Yeah. This is a test for compression.
You can listen back and see if you need more release or less. And this basically, like, if you're watching this back, it kind of shows you when it's going down.
I don't really know what to say on this test. I don't really do much with this test. I don't know the melody I want.
So it's showing you how long it's taking to go back to normal. Just to clarify, what you're aiming for here with the release is that it goes back to normal after every phrase. So when you stop singing, rapping, it goes back to normal. And then when you come back in, it raises again. So the compression is active when your vocals are active, and when your vocals are not active, it's not compressing the air, so to speak. So that's what you're aiming for. It's saying that we got -8 reduction, so we might want to add 6 dB of, you might want to add 8 dB of makeup actually, but we'll get into that. If you want your vocals half mixed before you even get to the mixing stage, yeah, you don't even want to go through all this compression stuff, you just want this all set up for you, then there's good news. You can grab my Spotify ready vocal mixing secrets template, link down below for FL Studio and Studio One, link in the description, or go to jcartera.com/vocal templates. This basically has your vocals half mixed before you even get to the mixing stage. This is what I use on all my vocals. I really honestly don't add much more after I add the template, because it's basically mixed on Spotify ready already, unless I'm adding like subjective effects to kind of have a different vibe, like maybe, I don't know, some distortion or something, then I'll add that after. But generally, vocals pretty much mixed when you fling in this template. And if you don't have the same plugins that I use, it also comes with a PDF that walks you through all the settings for the plugins that I use, so you can use your own plugins and use that PDF instead. Okay, link down below, grab that ASAP. It's going to help you out a lot, speed up your mixing process. Basic compression, let's get back to it. Now, I would add about 8 for the makeup because it's telling us we got some reduction there. Now, let's listen back and we'll listen with the compressor off and then compressor on.
I don't really know what to say on this test. I don't really do much with this test.
Remember, we're hitting like -12.
I don't know the melody I want, but we're gonna test it anyway. Yeah. This is a test for compression.
Yeah, we want it to be around -12 consistently. So let's turn the compression off, compression on, and see where we hit.
I don't really know what to say on this test. I don't really do much with this texture. I don't know the melody I want, no. But we're gonna test it anyway.
See, we went over a little bit, so maybe I'll add some more attack.
Yeah. This is a test for compression. This.
And maybe soften the knee a little bit.
I don't really know what to say on this test, I don't really do much with this test, I don't know the melody I want, no. But we're gonna test it anyway. Yeah. This is a test for compression.
Ooh, that one over there, like that, this is a test for compression, yeah. It's not going as fast as we need. So basically with this, we've got the first one done, 0.7, not too bad. With this, what you do, if you still got vocal peaks, add another compressor. Now we don't want to make this compressor do all the work. We can just add another one. Okay, so basically we can do the same thing, but now our threshold is probably going to be a little bit different because everything that's coming into here is going to be at -12. So we'll go to like, let's say -20. And we'll bring the attack down.
I don't really know what to say on this test, I don't really do much with this test, I don't know the melody I want, no. But we're gonna test it anyway. Yeah. This is a test for compression. This.
And then we can bring that makeup gain up a little bit.
Say on this test, I don't really do much with this test, I don't know the melody I want, no. But we're gonna test it anyway. Yeah. This is a test for compression.
Wait, did that go over again?
Yeah. This is a test for compression.
Yeah, went over a little bit, but way less. And we can bring that attack up a little bit more if we want it to go even less. Let's see.
This is a test for compression.
Basically still -12. So that's how you basically want to be using your compressor. You want to be looking at the compression, looking at where the audio is, listening back as well, because everything sounds louder. Like if I turn this off,
I don't really know what to say on this test, I don't really do much with this test, I don't know the melody I want, no.
but it's still hitting 12 dB. So let's bring this in.
I don't really know what to say on this test, I don't really do much with this test,
I think it might actually be a little bit too loud to this.
I don't know the melody I want, no. But we're gonna test it anyway. Yeah. This is a test for compression. This.
Yeah, that sounds more where I want it to be actually. So we've got everything set up with our compressor. The next step, after you've added your compressor, you've added your second compressor to make sure everything's all good. Generally, I add like a bunch of effects, but we're not doing that today. We're just focusing on compression. Next, I'll add some parallel compression, which is actually already going on here with the send. So if we turn everything off and we have no compression, this is what it sounds like.
I don't really know what to say on this test. I don't really do much with this test.
And then if we add one compressor,
I don't really know what to say on this test. I don't really do much with this test.
second compressor,
I don't really know what to say on this test. I don't really do much with
you know, honestly, yeah, we do need a little bit more.
This test. I don't know the melody I want, no.
Yeah. This is about the right
I
level.
don't really know what to say on this test, I don't really do much with this test, I don't know the melody I want, no.
Then we've got our parallel compression. Okay, now what is parallel compression? First of all, let's turn off everything else other than the parallel compressor, because we're getting some lovely delay and reverb and all that sort of stuff, which is just, well, actually, let's leave that on. We don't need to turn that off. But we don't want the doubler, because that's going to add a bit to the dB and make it sound louder. Okay, so we're just gonna have the parallel. First of all, let's play without the parallel compression so you could hear with all the, you know, reverb and stuff.
I don't really know what to say on this test, yeah. I don't really do much with this test, yeah.
Now let's add the parallel compression.
I don't really know what to say on this test, yeah. I don't really do much with this test, yeah.
And let's turn off the parallel compression just in case you didn't notice it. It basically just makes everything sound beefier, okay?
I don't really know what to say on this test, yeah.
And let's play that back with parallel compression.
I don't really know what to say on this test, yeah.
Beautiful stuff. Now, with parallel compression, let me show you what's actually going on here. We're sending this to a send track, and then we're adding more compression onto it, okay? So this is, where's our parallel compression track? Here's our parallel compression track. We've got CLA, and we have pumped this up, like ratios on all. This means 50-1. Generally, I think I remember it's like 50-1 if you put it on all, something like that, as far as I remember. So that's where you want your compressor to be. You want it to be a 50-1 ratio. You want it to hard compress everything, yeah? Then you want to, you know, set your input and output to where you want it to be. Set your attack quite low. You don't want it to be too fast and whatnot. Set your release in the middle. And then Bob's your uncle, you can add a limiter, which I did do here, and an equalizer just to, you know, round everything out. Because this parallel compression is basically a limiter because of the ratio is so high, and that's what a limiter is. It's a high ratio compressor basically. So we've got our threshold and we've got our ceiling because you don't want anything over there. We've limited that, and then we've got an equalizer as well to like get rid of some of the lows and take out some of the mids. What is that mid? Some of about 1,000, and I'm unsure if we can listen to this by itself. This is what the parallel compression sounds like by itself.
To say on this test, yeah. I don't really do much with this test, yeah.
So super compressed, and then you just blend it in with the main signal, and when you blend them together, it sounds pretty good.
I don't know the melody I want, no. But we're gonna test it anyway. I don't really know what to say on this test, yeah. I don't really do much with this test.
And that's how you compress your vocals like a pro. Earlier I asked you a question. That question was, what is the best compressor for beginners? And now's the time to answer that question. And the answer is, drumroll please, it's RVox by Waves. Now this compressor is hands down the best. The reason why is because it's so simple. Now, we've turned off all compression. Let's turn off the parallel compression as well. This is what it sounds like again.
I don't really know what to say.
Oh, let's actually turn off our Vox as well. This is what it sounds like again.
I don't really know what to say.
So we want to deal with that say, okay? Once we deal with that say, we know we've pretty much got our compression going on right. So the reason why I like this is because it's so simple. Now we can set the threshold using this, and because, wait, let's actually check where is this generally hitting.
I don't really know what to say, honestly.
Okay, so we want it around 12. That's where we want everything to end up. So let's set the compressor around -18. And let's turn it on.
This test, yeah. I don't really know what to say on this test, yeah. I don't really.
And we're gonna bring this gain down. So instead of having makeup gain, we now need to do gain reduction, okay?
Really do much with this test, yeah. I don't know the melody I want, no. But we're gonna test it anyway, yeah.
So let's see if this is too.
Know what to say on it. I don't really know what to say on this test, yeah. I don't really do much with this test, yeah.
You can bring it down a little bit.
I don't know the melody I want, no. But we're gonna test it. And I don't really know what to say on this test, yeah.
And it's basically done. Of course, you can add more and, you know, be more specific with it, but like, it's so easy to use this that it's definitely the best one for any beginners. I'll leave a link down to it in the description down below so you can grab this. If you go through my link, it will help out the channel, so definitely do that. please. Thank you very much. Remember, vocal template in the description. Let's quickly recap the steps. So first, you want to add your compressor after your EQ. Start with at least, 6 dB of compression. That means wherever your vocals are hitting, minus 6 dB under that. Then you want to adjust the taste. So make sure you're getting as much as you can so those peaks aren't peaking so much. You want to add a softener. Then you want a 2:1 or 3:1 ratio. Don't go too far. Then you want a moderate attack and release to balance the levels. Then you want to add faster, higher ratio compressor if the vocal peaks are still apparent. Honestly, I didn't even add a higher ratio compressor when I did that. Like, my compressor didn't need to be such a high ratio when I added the second one. But if you're having real problems with the peaks, then add another compressor and you can increase that ratio. Then add some parallel compression with a 50:1 ratio. To do that, you send vocals to a send channel, add some compression, blend to taste. So those are the steps, yeah? If you got any questions or any videos you want me to make, please let me know in the comment section down below. In the next video, you're gonna learn more about music, online business, and online marketing. I'll see you there. Peace out.